Welcome back to Miles Around. Let's start off in the driver's seat with this. It's the 2007 BMW Z4. Now, the Z4 replaced the Z3 in 2003. The Z3 had been one of the most successful cars for BMW. In fact, they sold out of the Neiman Marcus catalog in one day. Dennis?
Well, that's the thing about the Z3 was the success of the small combination of an open-top roadster built by one of the most famous automakers that produces great performance cars. The Z4 is definitely a different looking vehicle than some of the other BMWs to come down the pike. Now you look at all the concave and convex shapes throughout the vehicle, it's hard to mistake, yes, it's a crisp angle design. We'll take a look inside, we'll take a look in the small but useful trunk, but first let's take a look under the hood.
Now we have the hood open of the 2007 BMW Z4. You can see this particular version has the standard engine in it, but there's also an SI available, right, Dennis?
That's right, Nick. There's a standard motor that has 215 horsepower and 185 pounds-feet of torque, the one you see behind me, but there is that optional SI with 255. Now, the standard motor takes advantage of BMW's double Vanos system. It's a valve train system that makes it so the car has a nice push when you rev it up and get it up in the high RPMs, but also trackable power when you're stuck in traffic. Now, that's backed up by a 6-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters. Again, kind of that sports car feel, but the ability to stick it and drive when you're, say, on I-5. Now, multi-link rear suspension and McPherson struts in the front, and a 50-50 weight distribution give it impeccable handling. We could talk about a lot of numbers like 0 to 60 or quarter mile or even top speed, but it's what BMW delivers. They say it's the ultimate driving machine. Cars like this from BMW with great balance and great feel and a great motor really do bring it to you. When you look at the styling of any BMW, and in particularly this Z4, you have to go to the front and you'll find what you find on any Beamer. Twin kidney grills. It's a signature of the BMW nameplate. Now this vehicle comes from Chris Bangle and his design studio. I'm not the biggest fan, but I think Nick will agree I'm starting to come around. I do have one complaint. This large body line through the front of the vehicle, you know, the thing is it has such a beautiful shape, but they decided for some reason to stick this giant hockey puck in the center. I thought maybe they were going to put cross flags and 454 on it. That's a real nitpick, but overall the car is a beautiful machine.
Now I've heard it a million times from Dennis. Yes, he hates the Chris Bangle designs, but let me tell you, this car has some great attributes. I really like the squareness of the front end and how long it is, and it's also very neat and compact in the back. And look at these lines down the side of the vehicle. Honestly, where else will you see lines like this in any vehicle? It really is unique, it stands out, and I think it's a nice driving machine.
Moving to the interior of the Z4, it really does show some great design attributes. You know, the ingress and egress into a vehicle this small is definitely at the height of a buyer's, state of mind. Getting in it has to be as fun as driving it. But Nick, why don't you give him some of your thoughts?
Man, you really have to sit in this car to realize how low on the ground it is. In fact, for someone that's 5'4", I have to get right down on the ground to actually sit in the vehicle. It's fairly spacious once you get inside the vehicle, but low, and there's a long hood to look over.
When you jump in the driver's seat of a BMW Z4, you really truly are at home if you're a sports car fan. Small and compact from the outside, but yet spacious on the inside. Myself, I'm 6'2", and I've varied my weight throughout this show's history. I'll say I'm 240 today. But really it's about the materials. This huge plank of aluminum in the front is really beautiful to look at. BMW has a way of taking their HVAC controls, their stereo controls, and making them complex, but yet really easy to use for the average driver. When you talk about steering position as far as where the wheel falls in your hands, the pedals are almost perfect beyond any other car in comparison. And truly, when you kind of sink into these seats, you feel like you're in $1 million car. And BMW has truly gone 5 stars. And if there was a 6-star rating, this car would get it.
So we've come to the time in the show, Dennis, when I need your 2 ups and your 1 down for this vehicle.
Well, the first one's easy. It's the driving dynamics. BMW calls it the ultimate driving machine, as they do all their cars. But this small convertible gives it to you in a way that's particularly BMW. Perfect weight distribution, great motor, great transmission, and it really does, it gives the driver feedback that an average performance driver might not need, but definitely wants.
And you're down?
My down would be this, the styling. I'm sorry. Chris Bengal, yes, you're growing on me, and I know there'll be other people out there that will disagree, but I don't know what this is. I don't know why this is here. It's the worst thing they ever could have done to the car. If I could have one of these, and I do come from a body shop experience, if they just shaved everything on the side smooth, it'd be perfect.
Let me tell you my 2 ups and 1 down for this vehicle. First of all, the handling. I have to agree with you, Dennis. I took this out on the road. It's very European in its handling. You can get in and out of traffic and it accelerates really well. The other thing I found was a real up for this vehicle is the transmission. Now, oftentimes you see in these vehicles when they have the automatic style transmissions, it's really clunky and you put your foot down. It doesn't shift how your brain wants it to shift. It has lag. I didn't find any of that in this vehicle. In fact, it shifts when I want it to shift, and there's also no lag between the gears. My down for this vehicle, although it's pretty close to perfect, I can always do with a little extra trunk space. And if it was just a few inches longer and maybe a couple inches wider in the trunk, I think I'd be more comfortable with it.
You know, we can fix that. Old MGs used to have luggage racks, and you can always buy a 5-speed. The 2007 BMW Z4 Roadster comes standard with a 3-liter dual overhead cam 24-valve inline 6-cylinder with a 6-speed manual transmission. Our tester had the optional 6-speed automatic transmission. It has a base price of $36,400 with an as-tested price of $46,325. EPA ratings for city miles per gallon were 21, and EPA ratings for highway miles per gallon were 30.
Here are the guys that make miles around possible. The Russ Auto Group, Baxter Auto Parts, Northside Ford, Ray Reese Dealerships, 4-Wheel Parts Performance Center, Grand Prix Imports, and J. Lee's Auto Group. Thanks, guys.